so dumb. It's so dumb. He was... Oh god, this really undid me. Welcome back to What Did We Just Watch? The show where we watch movies so bad,
so avant-garde,
or so mind-boggling, we have to ask ourselves, what did we just watch? On today's episode, we are talking about the 2002 movie, The Scorpion King, which is a spin-off slash prequel to The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. So The Scorpion King was directed by Chuck Russell, who also directed The Mask.
Okay, I haven't seen The Mask.
Me neither, but somehow it makes sense. This movie had 4 different writers. The story was by Stephen Sommers, who did The Mummy movies, and Jonathan Hales. And then the screenplay was by Stephen Sommers, William Osborne, and David Hayter.
That's so many people.
That's too many writers for this movie.
For the most generic movie.
Yeah, a bot could have written that movie.
Yeah.
So this movie stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It is his it's his sophomore feature.
Like his debut, I assume, being The Mummy Returns.
Yeah, The Mummy Returns, which he was in for less than 10 minutes.
Excellent.
His first as a leading man.
I mean, honestly, like, that's kind of impressive because he feels comfortable as a leading man.
It's not, I mean, we'll get into it, but he doesn't feel like a standout in terms of bad acting.
No. No, he carries the movie adequately.
Yeah. Stephen Brand plays Memnon, the movie's antagonist.
A very clearly Scottish man.
Yeah. Just the whitest of the whites. Kelly Hu plays the sorceress, who is maybe named Cassandra, but they only reference her name once.
Yeah, in the entire movie.
Yeah. And then...
No!
And then there's... He doesn't have a huge role, but Peter Facinelli plays Takmet. You may not recognize his name. AKA Carlisle from the Twilight series. Some fun facts about this movie.
I'm so scared.
This one isn't scary, but apparently Bill Hader worked as a PA on this movie. For his role as the Scorpion King, The Rock was nominated for a Nickelodeon Kids.
Okay. Yep.
For a Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards as a favorite male butt kicker. But he lost to Jackie Chan. But don't worry, he won in 2013 for Journey 2. This movie spawned 4 sequels.
I'm so sorry.
4 sequels.
4 sequels?
Yes.
How? Why?
I don't know. None of them featuring The Rock. Like, Matthias is played by, like, a different character almost, or a different actor almost every time. So the sequels are Scorpion King 2, Rise of a Warrior, Scorpion King 3, Battle for Redemption, Scorpion King 4, Quest for Power, and Scorpion King, Book of Souls.
What? What have we unlocked?
Like, the most recent being in 2018. This series has spanned 16 years.
I mean, I feel like the sequels are probably better if he becomes the Scorpion King himself.
Okay, well, let's get into that. So the Scorpion King, as we mentioned, is a minor character. I mean, he's kind of a villain, but he's barely in it.
He's a villain?
Yeah. So...
I thought he joined forces with
Oh, girl.
Rick.
Oh, girl. So let me explain. So
He's a friend, he's not a foe.
He's a foe.
No!
He has to kill him.
He has to kill the Scorpion
Yeah.
when he's in Scorpion. And he does.
Yeah.
I'm really upset.
But so the movie, The Mummy Returns, opens up, and it's The Rock, and it's like he's fighting a battle.
Just the normal Rock?
Just the normal Rock.
Okay.
And he's leading an army, and then he loses the battle, and like he's wandering through the desert, and all of his like people in his army die,
Yeah.
and he's about to die, and then he makes a promise to the god Anubis, and he's like, if you let me get vengeance on my foes, I pledge myself to you. And then like he eats a scorpion, and then he lives, but he's not in half scorpion form yet. And then he goes back, and like this is all like the first 5 minutes of the movie, and he goes back and kills his enemies, and then like he dies. He goes to the underworld, he's sealed away. And so the movie is like there's a curse, and he comes back. Only then when he comes back by Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz is he in like a scorpion centaur form. And it looks awful. Based on that plot, this movie has to take place before then.
Yeah.
But why is it called The Scorpion King?
I didn't know any. I've only seen the first Mummy movie, and so I go into this and I'm like, great, he's gonna be the normal guy, and then he's gonna get bitten by a scorpion or whatever, and then he's gonna be the Scorpion King, and it's gonna be great, it's gonna be funny. But then he never was a Scorpion King.
He's just a guy the whole time.
He's just a dude. There's no context for like who he is.
Yeah, if you hadn't seen the Mummy movies, one, it'd be of no consequence, like you can see this movie without it. But two, why it's called The Scorpion King wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like at one point he gets shot with an arrow that has like scorpion venom on it, and the sorceress is like, if he survives this, he'll have scorpion blood in him forever. And it's like, I don't know if that's how that works.
No. The bad guy is also just a guy. Like, I don't think there's any historical pretense. There's, like, it's not historically, like, a guy who exists. It's just a guy. So it's just an hour and a half of two guys, like, fighting.
Yeah, so, like, the setup of this movie is The Rock is one of the 3 remaining members of his tribe, and he's hired as an assassin to kill the sorceress who works with the Memnon, who's basically conquering all the kingdom.
Yeah.
And then
the king of Gomorrah.
Yeah, and then they fall in like he
kidnaps the sorceress.
Yeah, and then just becomes Shrek at one point.
Honest to God, was just the feature-length film masterpiece Shrek.
Yeah, but like worse.
Oh yeah, without any of the
charisma,
uniqueness, nerve, or talent.
No. Yeah, so it's just like a ancient like kingdom battle. Like it's so generic.
It's so boring, and I guess like I don't know why. I don't understand why they would make it like this. Like, I understand, I guess, like, you would be rewriting the canon by adding in the Scorpion King.
Yeah,
but at least you would get the Scorpion King of the title.
this movie really like duped us because the cold open was amazing. There were tears in my eyes. I was laughing so hard. Like he like runs it or like is rescuing his brother from these like barbarians, but like he's like climbing up the side of a building with like a rope harness and like just a giant boulder attached to him. And his first line, which I read because he only speaks ancient Egyptian in The Mummy Returns, so his first line in English in any movie is just boo.
After he shoots a guy with an arrow that sends the man careening out of the building at least 30 feet away.
The physics are highly questionable.
Which never happens again. He shoots plenty of people with arrows and never does anyone fly away again. I was sorely disappointed.
Although The Rock does get literally catapulted out of a building.
Catapulted out of a building by a catapult.
Into the king's harem.
And then all the ladies are like, have sex with us.
Yeah,
We're
okay.
horny.
Let's talk about this movie's portrayal of women.
So it was written, as we said, by 4 men.
Yeah, so when we started this movie, we were like, are there gonna be any women in this? And I correctly predicted, I was like, well, I bet the sorceress is gonna be the love interest and all other women are just gonna be props.
And that's what
that's what happened. And
which, like, I mean, the first Mummy movie, at least, like, Rachel Weisz's character is, like, an entire character. Who's,
yeah.
like, interesting and cool.
Yeah, and then in the second movie, they give more to Anaximanoon to do. Like,
yeah.
she brings, spoiler alert, she brings back the mummy. Like, so the sorceress is a weird character. So, like, like we said, she is, like, allied with the king because we find out he's kept her prisoner since she was a child.
Yeah.
And he says, like, oh, when I win this victory, I'll have you by my side and in my bed. And then she says that if she has sex, she'll lose her powers.
Which, like, ugh.
Yeah, it says a lot about these men's idea of virginity and purity and women's sexuality.
Literally, like, and he is the bad guy, but he does say when he thinks that she's lost her powers.
That he can sense that she's been diminished.
Yeah, diminished.
Because she had sex with The Rock and lost her powers. Probably? The movie makes it unclear because she makes a joke about how her ancestors thought it'd be a good way to, like, deter kings from, like, getting involved with her. I don't know.
But she also seems like she no longer has her. She doesn't use them after she has sex with The Rock.
Yeah, so she, like, saying, like, haha, my ancestors put this curse on me.
Yeah.
It very weird. So weird.
It's bad. Like on every level it could be bad, it's bad. Like virginity as like an actual like not
tangible thing.
Yeah.
Also the like how heteronormative is that? It's like once you get a dick inside of you, powers
gone. Yeah, what if she like had sex with a woman?
Yeah, what if she was queer?
Yeah, the whole diminished thing, like even if they just mean like powers, like that still has a very storied connotation behind it of ruining women's lives for many centuries.
Or being damaged or like don't have any value.
Yeah.
Weirdly too, like the movie is kind of obsessed with her virginity and tying it to her power, yet every woman is so like scantily clad to the extent where it's like the outfit does not make sense.
No, every single outfit that a woman wears in this movie, every single one is sexualized. Like
yeah, it's like very revealing on the chest. Like, there's women who have, they're not even shorts. Like, they barely cover their butt, and like, they're warriors. Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make any practical sense.
No.
Like,
It looks like push-up bras, like the little like pieces they wear on their chest look like push-up bras.
yeah, and her outfits, like, they're
Should
like,
we, get into it?
yeah, they're like open on the side.
Yeah.
And like, she's wandering through the desert riding on a camel.
Yeah, so when The Rock kidnaps her, she's in the tub fully naked. She's got like her hair covering her bits and pieces in a way that I found shocking, the way they did, just because like, I mean, nudity is whatever, but because it's a PG-13 movie,
Yeah,
it like leaves almost, like you almost see her nipples many times, and I'm pretty sure that we see something. I think we maybe see her vagina in this movie, because
Yeah, or at least like her, like the modesty covering they give her, because
Yeah.
like, yeah, and also maybe just her full butt at one point.
yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah, she is fully naked for a while, and then she has just a piece of fabric, and then she has the outfit where it's like cut entirely up the sides, and she's wearing no underwear underneath, and then she straddles The Rock at one point, and as she's getting on top of him, I was like, that's just a vagina.
I mean, this movie just is so early 2000s, but the costumes, if like, it was, oh, the love interest is dressed sexy, but like the warriors were in like warrior outfits that made sense, like,
Yeah.
at least there'd be that, but it's just that every woman is just a sex object in this movie.
And it's not even like, there's obviously absolutely nothing wrong with a woman showing off her body for herself or for other people, but this is so clearly just gratuitous for the audience and just turning women into objects.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. Especially too when, not to keep comparing it to the source material.
Superior film.
Yeah, that like Rachel Weisz has like more agency, like she is dressed sensibly for adventuring. She is smart, like her romance with Brendan Fraser is like not the most important part of her character.
No,
like,
and it's built on like an equal playing ground for the most part.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, she saves the day.
Yeah, she's the brains, he's the brawn.
Yeah.
Together they make a son named
Sean! Oh, I was like, no, their son's name is Alex. Just flexing the mummy knowledge. Another point about this movie is like many movies set in like ancient Egypt or like the Middle East, no one is Middle Eastern.
No.
Like, obviously The Rock is Polynesian.
And black.
Yeah, and black. But not Middle Eastern. No. The sorceress is East Asian.
Yeah, I think she's Chinese and Hawaiian.
The villain is white. And his lackeys are white.
Yeah. The hairy guy with his titties out.
Yeah. The guy who works at the palace, who's like the wacky inventor, is white.
Like an Englishman.
Yeah.
How did he get over here?
Of a lot of movies that just like straight up whitewash their characters, this was more just like they were just like had no regard.
No.
They're like, we'll guess anyone.
Yeah, which like, I mean, it's not inherently bad. Like I have no problem with like, what's his name? Denzel Washington being in like Much Ado About Nothing,
No. It just is a common problem with movies like this. Like,
yeah, like I feel like the bigger problem is just like there are no Middle Eastern people in this movie in speaking roles.
Yeah.
So there are CGI ants because he gets buried up to his neck in the sand by Memnon.
Yes.
And there.
Wait, is it by Memnon? Maybe, I don't know, it's
The
unimportant.
beginning is really convoluted.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different people. It doesn't matter.
So he gets buried up to his neck, and then there are all these giant CGI red ants, just like the CGI ants
In Crystal Skull.
Yeah, except much worse looking.
And
also,
Kate Blanchett's not there.
That's true. And also they are very large. And one crawls on his face in a very weirdly paced moment where it's like tension of like, we gotta get the ants away. And then one crawls on his face and he's like, and he eats it. Which was weird.
It was weird.
Because I thought this was a tense moment, but you just ate the ant.
Another weird thing about the sorceress is she like continuously tries to sacrifice herself
Yeah.
for the rock. Like when he gets poisoned, she like goes like and like inhales all the poison from his body, and then almost dies. And then in the climactic fight scene, because she had a vision that he was gonna get shot with an arrow and die, she tries to like launch herself in front of him and like take the arrow, but like he maneuvers himself and he gets shot anyway. But it's just so weird that like only thing the woman does is like, oh, I'm gonna die for you.
Yeah, she's for the most part a really passive character, which like wasn't shocking because like this movie hates women.
Yeah.
It hates women.
Yeah.
It's
just
not a fan.
It's disappointing.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah. I just don't understand why he wasn't Scorpion.
Because they hate us.
I wanted to see Scorpion, man.
Yeah.
Why would I go see if I've seen the Mummy Returns and I say that was pretty cool. He was a Scorpion. Why would I go see a movie that's an hour and a half long where he's never a Scorpion?
Yeah. Although maybe they got the feedback that he looked so terrible in that movie.
It is rough. It's really rough. But also, I wanted to see him be the Scorpion.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if there's any takeaway from this, it's just watch the Mummy movies.
Yeah.
Don't bother with this.
Which was always going to be the conclusion we were going to come to.
Another great moment was when they're right before the climax, when they're sneaking into the castle, and to get in, all the women dress up and have little pretty like scarves on their face and like, ooh, we're gifts for the king. And then Balthazar is just in drag.
It was really great.
With great green eyeshadow.
The green eyeshadow was legitimately like really beautiful on him, and I wanted him to have it for the rest of the movie.
It was fun.
The makeup is rough. It's very 2002.
Oh yeah.
But his makeup, really nice.
It was fun.
The outfits, I mean, besides like obviously the really like male gazy like women's outfits, were very weird.
Yeah, it was such a weird like a lot of them looked costumey.
Yeah.
And then like Carlisle was just like dressed up in like chainmail but also leather kinda. Like it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was really, like, the women were definitely not dressed for battle, but in all fairness, neither were the men.
No.
Like, Memnon had a lot of, like, belts on and, like, just things dangling off of his outfit that just seemed like it would either get in his way or be something for an enemy to grab onto when fighting in close combat.
Oh my god, the music.
Oh, no.
It's very like
the zip line.
Oh my god.
Oh shoot.
The music in this movie, like there's some music cues that are normal that are like reminiscent of like the music cues in The Mummy, but then also there's just like very heavy like rock guitar. In only some of the scenes.
Yeah,
it is
very briefly for one scene where he's preparing to zip line.
Yeah, and like he oh my god, we didn't talk about the camel. Like, he has a camel that's like its own character, and he attaches the zip line to his camel, and he's like, what? I'm not that heavy.
He talks to the camel.
Yeah. Yeah, just...
While the music is like... And he zip lines into enemy territory. The beginning of this movie's pretty great. Up until right after he finishes zip lining, and then it like goes downhill pretty quickly into just boring generic action movie. Like it's not really all that similar to Rampage with Dwayne The Rock Johnson from a couple of years ago, but I felt the same as I did watching Rampage.
Where like there were moments of absurdity and like laughter, but most of the time you're just like, what?
You're like, I'm bored and I know what's gonna happen and I'm really bored.
Yeah. So Zoe, what would you rate this movie?
So thinking about what we've watched, I would say it's like about as boring as Little Italy was. But I feel like Little Italy like sucked all the life out of me in a way that was rough, man. So I would feel like I'd give it a 1.5.
Yeah, I like at first thought it was gonna be higher because I was having fun, but
we thought it was gonna be like Cats.
Yeah, like it was gonna be silly, campy, fun, good time.
Yeah.
But then it just got like so generic and so meh. I'd probably give it like a 1.5. But I did not want to die after this movie.
No.
Like Little Italy.
And it was also a cool 92 minutes.
Yeah. It kept it tight.
Yeah.
So would you recommend this movie?
I would not. I would recommend The Mummy.
Yeah. Just watch The Mummy and The Mummy Returns.
I would even recommend The New Mummy.
I would not.
For camp. That movie's also pretty boring.
That movie sucked it out of me though. So yeah, just watch the great Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz movies.
And the guy, the brother.
Yeah. I don't know his name. I mean,
Clive?
I mean, his character's name is Jonathan.
Character might be named Clive. I don't know.
What if it's just Clive Owens?
Can you imagine?
It'd be a very different movie.
It'd be really weird.
So Zoe, what are we going to be watching the next time?
I'm really excited about this one because I've been holding it in my head. I know really nothing about it except I like the director and the name is funny.
Okay.
And I like the actors in it. So, and then after this movie, I promise for my picks, we're getting out of the 60s.
I thought you were going to say France.
Can you imagine? We are out of France. So, it is... It's from 1964. The Italian film, The Magnificent Cuckold.
Well, I can't wait for that.
It's on Amazon Prime, so if you want to watch it before us, you're free to do so.
Watch along.
Watch along.
Thank you for joining us, and this has been What Did We Just Watch? I did tell you that they made a spin-off, an animated series of The Mummy. I need to watch it.
There truly is a Mummy cinematic universe in a way I didn't realize.
Yeah. Though it has far reaches.
Yeah, like you've got a lot of work to do.
What else?
Unlike the Dark Universe.
R.I.P. Imagine, was it Johnny Depp that was gonna be the Invisible Man? Imagine if the Elizabeth Moss movie that just came out had Johnny Depp in it.
I mean, that would be too real.
And was it Javier Bardem was gonna be Frankenstein?
No, they already did Frankenstein, didn't they? Wasn't I Frankenstein part of the Dark Universe?
I don't think so.
What if Javier Bardem is like Wolfman? Dark Universe, isn't it? I wanted to see the Dr. Jekyll standalone movie. I miss it. I miss the good old days when I thought we were getting the Dark Universe and it was gonna be really fun.
Yeah, the Bride of Frankenstein was meant to follow.
Oh, no.
They would be joined by new versions of Creature from the Black Lagoon, Dracula, Frankenstein, Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Invisible Man and Phantom of the Opera.
I am so sorry. What? The Hunchback of Notre Dame? We can't do that anymore. We can't do that. That's offensive.
Also has like
yeah, it's offensive.
Romani people and disabled people.
You would have to rework the entire story.
It just really punches down on like the most forgotten of the minority groups.
And like your like villain is still Claude Frollo. Like you're just gonna make him a monster in the sense of like he's monstrous? Like what are we doing here? I have hundreds of questions. Who was gonna be the Hunchback? I'm glad that okay, I take it back. Maybe it's a good thing we didn't get the Dark Universe so that we didn't have to get mad about that.
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera would have been fun though.
Who knows? Maybe we'll still get it, just not as part of the Dark Universe.
Crab's buttocks.
Tight as a crab's buttocks.